Hey guys, this is Lana from Truth and Transparency, and this is the official launch of the merch line. Check it out. Tell me what you guys think. I'm going to be doing a fan community post once a week. If you happen to buy merchandise, take a picture with your merchandise on or in your hand, send it on in via email to lana@fightforafamily.com. I will then be uploading those on the community page. But check it out. The new merch line is officially launched. There it is, your official Snapbacks and Facts trucker hat. It's in navy blue with white. Writing is in white outlined in red. You know, red, white, and blue. I mean, you can't go wrong with a classic beanie, right? It's wintertime. So get your Truth and Transparency embroidered beanie. White, gray. Also, for the first month, don't forget to take advantage of that early bird user promo code when you check out. Here it is. Lana's Live Classic Hoodie. You guys know I love a good hoodie. And right here, you can wear a hoodie when I go live. Or when, you go to bed. I love hoodies. Home Team Productions written on the back. Again, you can find this classic hoodie, Lana's Live Classic Hoodie, in white, black, or gray. And it features the Home Team Productions on the back. As far as those sizes, we got you covered. Maybe that 4XLT might be out of stock, but all those sizes to choose from. Again, here is my favorite, the black on black classic hoodie. And then finally, ladies, we got it in 2 colors. This is the Home Team crop hoodie. It's a all white out hoodie with the Home Team Productions in a lighter gray. Nothing is on the back. And then it is also in black. Ladies, I got you covered. Home Team crop hoodie. Get your body ready.
It's a drunk turkey show, mother trucker!
There's no free rides on the ass or ass.
Starring Honey G, the Bigfoot Hunter. Big Blue, the gyno for the
The
star.
wrong shirt though.
Oh yeah.
I ordered the white tank top spaghetti strap.
And the spaceman Daniel J.
My name's Jonathan Martinez.
No.
Oh yeah, it was a trap house.
Really?
And I just learned that verbiage. Yeah, I just learned that verbiage. Yep, this Christmas. The Christmas thing. Otherwise, I got someone's back. I do. And she's a kid. And even it.
What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Here you go, the intro to today's episode. Again, just kicking off the merch line. You guys just saw that. This Friday, which is tomorrow, I will be on the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm going to come with the heat tomorrow. I went out and bought a new pair of aviator sunglasses, okay? I got a brand new bottle. And I'm definitely going to have some models over here. So I'm going to bring the heat Tomorrow I'm going to ask the tough questions, and I will be authentically me as always. So, but today we need to talk about the router. We need to talk about the reason that there was no router. It wasn't because Brian took his router, it's because the university supplied them with the internet. Okay. So no one's talking about it. So I thought maybe we should talk about it. We're usually the first to talk about things over here. So let's talk about it. Again, welcome, Truth and Transparency. Thank you, mods. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, members, for being here. Help me out by hitting the thumbs up, or if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. Either way, make yourself known. Where is Brian Kohberger's router? Moscow, Idaho. Moscow Police Department believed that Brian Kohberger committed 4 murders in an off-campus house on King Road during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, between the hours of 4 and 4:25 a.m. This true crime, or crimes, has captivated the entire world. Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, and the FBI have conducted over 300 interviews. Moscow Police Department, they've collected 113 pieces of evidence that the public is aware of and was made aware of by November 25th, 2022. However, on November 23rd, 2022, 2 days before the announcement of the 113 total pieces of evidence sent to the lab for testing, the Moscow Police Department said that they had only 103 pieces of evidence.
Did they?
I can go get them real quick.
These?
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car, and the other one.
Nice. Truly for the win.
The house that you just seen right there, next to the 1122 King Road, is the house that is listed in the probable cause as being 50 feet from Xana's bedroom, and here's a loud thud at 4:17 a.m. plus whimpers. My question is, what does that audio and video have between 10 a.m. on November 13th and 12 noon on November 13th? Transparency. This is a Home Team Productions executive producer, Lana Oriani. And consider becoming a member of the channel to help support the efforts of reporting the facts and logic discussions. Here is your live broadcast. Welcome. Again, thank you guys for being here. Welcome to the Transparency. Right there. Okay. All right, guys, that's the house. So I'm going to be on the Drunk Turkey Show tomorrow night. And the biggest thing that I'm going to be talking about is, hey, Leanna, do you think that that person's being honest? Do you believe them? Well, I don't think that we're going to have to believe them or not, because if what they're saying is true, that house has footage that they used between 3:29 a.m. as well as like 4:17 a.m. to 4:20 a.m. Whatever happened there and transpired there in the morning, right there, that house should have it. And if they don't have it, we should wonder why. We should wonder why that house, though, would have everything on camera that transpired in the morning. So in terms of people getting a phone call and, hey, it's 10 a.m. I need you guys to come over here. I need you to clean up all this drug paraphernalia with me. I need to get the drugs out. Anything that would have happened like that, you guys, that house would have it on their camera, just like they have everything else. If that house doesn't have it, if they didn't go and get that footage, that's problematic in terms of why not. That house should have it, period. End of story. The other thing, though, is if I'm a parent and you're going to sit here and talk shit about my kids possibly having a trap house, I'm going to go ham on that. And I'm going to say, show your source, do this, do that, because you're not going to talk and say shit about my kid having a trap house and drugs and all this stuff. Back up what you're saying or shut it down. And that's how I feel about that. Just like how I feel about where there's a gag order. People Magazine saying that an investigative source, that's implying that it would be a police officer or an investigator that's saying that Brian Kohberger was DMing somebody. Like, are you guys asking for there to be problems in the prosecution of this man? Because that's what's happening. Why People Magazine would ever put that even out there, to me, is irresponsible. 100. Sliding into someone's DMs, and then guess what? Everybody ran with it. Everybody ran with it. So, while the tabloids are out there doing this, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the facts. So again, I'm not calling anybody a liar, a fibber, or anything like that, but it's like when you're going to say something to the terms of having a trap house, drug house, and you're speaking, if that was my daughter or that was my son, I would be very, very like, hey, I want the truth, so bring it, but I want the facts, and you're going to come with some receipts. So saying that you have a kid at WSU or you have 2 kids, trust me, tomorrow night, be there, because I'm going to be on top of that in terms of, hey, you have the right to say that. I want to see some receipts. But more importantly, what's the reason for saying it? Did you go to the cops with it? Did any of those kids go to the cops with it? So we're going to talk about, like, this ain't no softball tomorrow night. This is, I'm going to bring it. So be prepared for it. I'm authentic. I bring my receipts. And if I'm saying that I'm speculating on something, I say that. Let's talk about this router, guys. There is no router. Do you want to know why there's no router? Because the university is supplying the internet. The university is supplying the internet. What I mean by that, Step 2 Apartments. I put it out on the thumbnail. I got, the university provides TV, internet, water, sewer, garbage, steam, heat, and hot water. The resident is responsible for electricity and phone service. Residents have access to the city bus routes through bus stops located near Steptoe Village. Graduate students can only select the 1 or 2 bedroom flats in this complex. So there we have it. There was no router to be gotten. So anybody out there that wants to say that Brian took his router with him when he went to PA, No. There was no router. He didn't need a router. Okay? He didn't need a router. So I am not a expert to testify or to tell you guys how it all works, but guess what? I'm going to go back to my days in college. In my living arrangements on the University of Cincinnati. And this was in 2000 to 2000, and I was only in the dorms for 1 year in an athletic dorm. And they gave us everything. We like literally showed up with like our belongings, clothes, mini refrigerators, microwaves, laptops, devices, whatever. But so how are they going to be able to, because I went through this whole thing again last night. And I said, I think it's interesting is they never talk about the router. And then they also talk about that they know, okay, that the door to G201 is located on the east side of the second story landing and is designated by the numbers 201 on the door. The door is white with a swinging screen door. I mean, you wouldn't know any of that unless you'd been there. So had they been there before? The next thing is that how did you know when you put in this probable cause affidavit, how did you know that he was not at his residence anymore and that he was in fact home in Pennsylvania if you were not monitoring him? How would you know that? Maybe he doesn't have a good relationship with his family and he went somewhere else for the holidays. How did you know that Brian Kohberger went to PA if in fact you were not following him? How did you know he had a stop in Colorado if you in fact were not following him? Why didn't they take any pair of shoe out of that house for a size value to see what the size of his shoe is? Did they take the shoes of everybody that had been in that house that day for just at least a sample of what size they wore? The number 6 part of the search warrant. Data showing the location of Brian Kohberger or the cell phone with the number 509-592-8458 on November 13th, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata. Why not November 12th? Why don't you want November 12th? November 12th is leading up into the early morning hours of November 13th. Why wouldn't you want that? You would want it. You would get it as well in a search warrant. You would get that. You guys, it's not about what we have or what we don't have. It's about what they asked for. Did Brian Kohberger not have any shoes in his apartment? We're talking about we want a size. We want size. What size shoe does Brian Kohberger wear? Get any shoe. We want a size. Is it because it's not a full print? Are the vans not, are they half of a van? But even still, you would be able to see the top of it and how much it would then match a size this, because it goes how long it's going to stretch it to be this size, this size, this size. On November 12th, we just did when was it? A day ago. We put in for a records request for November 12th incident at 11:40 p.m. on Brandyway. We called as well. They first tried to tell us that there wasn't an incident. I said there was an incident. I'm going to give you the incident number. I'm going to give you the person involved. We got a message back that there was, in fact, it was not available for public. So that incident, we tried to get the body cam and the 911 call, everything surrounding it. It is not being put out there. If anybody does not know yet, it is the hit and run. It's Brandyway. I'm not going to give the incident number out. Y'all can go do your own research. They asked for books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact list, blah, 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 blah. They took this out of the house. Why is there no mention of it in the seized items? And then you got people saying, oh, well, it's their equipment that they were bringing back out. You think they put stuff in that house? You think that they contaminated a scene? You think that they took their own totes and put them in? No, no, no. What you see on the steps and anything on the ground there, that's their equipment. They did not bring stuff in there to contaminate a scene that they are then searching. That's not how that works. In fact, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Number 7, evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media, blah, 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 goes on and on. They took the tower. They have the tower. So what you're going to get from this tower is if you ever plugged in your phone and you were able to sync stuff, okay? That tower that they took out, all right, that tower could possibly have, you know, when people want to talk about like Google searches and things like that, I think it's going to be more for if you synced devices through that tower. So that's where I'm leaning towards the tower, and what the significance is going to come from that tower is going to be, it's a hard drive. Your tower is your hard drive. And I'm curious of the year of the tower. And I'm curious if it was actually set up or just like stored. And I'll tell you why in another video. IP logs. So, but if you go through this whole thing and you pay attention to the wording, they never talk about a router. And it's because they knew that the router was non-existent. There was no router. He didn't have a router. He didn't have a router in his in his unit, because he gets to use the internet through the university. He doesn't have to have his own, provider. The university provides his Wi-Fi. Not just his, but a shit ton. That whole Steptoe apartment complex, all of them are getting the free. I don't want to use the word free because you pay for it. It's in your lease, like whatever you're paying monthly. Trust me, it's part of it. So, but if you go through here, they never use the word router. It's because they know that a router was not able. I mean, so was there though? Hey, we're going to have to subpoena the university's, Wi-Fi. Then you're going to have to show that it's, then you're going to have to show like all these different IP logins. You're going to have to match his IP address and login. And see, that's like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how that's going to go point A to point B to point C to point D, but logically, someone's going to have to to do that. If you want anything that he may have or may not have like looked up, you're going to have to go through the university, and it's because he's not on his own Wi-Fi. He's not on his own, like at your house. We'll just take your router and we're going to have everything that we need. That's not possible because Brian Kohberger did not have a router. He used the university. So again, these are the things that I think we should be discussing is how do they go about, when here's the one page for his work office. They served this in person on 12/30. And then they took no items seized, no items. He shared his work office with multiple people. Unfortunately, they doxed them. I can't believe that. They did not redact those names, unfortunately. But no items were taken from his office. And then we go back to the search warrant for his apartment. And what's interesting to me is if you're going to say that you did not follow him, okay, and people are going to say that they had to seal this because it was served before he was arrested, and if this got out, that people would be in danger. You'd have to look at the actual stamped pieces of paper to know when he was arrested versus when this was put in and things like that. I can't answer that because I don't have that. But the door is white with a swinging screen door. You would only know that if you were there. So they'd been out there before. Shoes. You'd want a size. They came out with no shoes. You guys, again, this is about, how do I want to say this? I want to use my wording right. Okay. In this, they had already had the DNA that they asked to not be used. So they already had that. And they said, please do not use that when considering giving this search warrant, okay? Because we don't want admissibility issues. We don't want anything, whatever we do get, to be thrown out due to the fact that you only gave us this because of the DNA on the sheath. So please do not consider that. Okay, that's important. But why do they think that could possibly be an issue? Clothing, including but not limited to dark shirts, dark pants, masks, shoes with diamond pattern sole. Dark, dark, dark. They're going heavy on Dylan's eyewitness account. Dark, dark, dark. Okay. Dark, dark, dark. Again, they did not take any shoes from the house. Did they take any shoes from the people that were inside the house, the people that were there when the 911 call was made? Why don't they want stuff from November 12th? Why do they only want November 13th? There's that incident on Brandy Way. Like I said, there's a cop's body cam. In the O.J. Simpson trial, they used media footage to show what people were coming in and out of the house with. AKA what they also showed so the media had this footage and they were showing how investigators did not have gloves on, things like that. So they were using media footage in the courtroom. Okay. How is that going to be any different from this case when you're going to be shown people walking out of his apartment with all these totes that have, like, it doesn't make sense. How are you taking out all of these items? Or are those just your items that you had there, that you brought there? It doesn't make sense. But they're going to be able to use that. Why isn't anybody talking about the fact that Brian's so OCD that the mere fact of stabbing people and blood going all over him and all over everything, like, that's everything that he is not okay with. Like, that's against his, everything about him in his life. Trust me, guys, there's going to be tons of connections and then also tons of non-connections. It's called circumstantial. But I believe that the biggest piece that they had, in my opinion, is the DNA. And that's what would be considered, in my opinion, the biggest thing that they have. That's what everybody keeps on talking about. DNA. His DNA is on the sheath. His DNA is on the sheath. Well, they don't want to use it. They don't want to use the DNA. They don't want you to consider using the DNA when issuing the search warrant. Why? All right, guys, I'm going to take a look at chat here. So the router, if anybody wants to talk about that router, just note the facts is that Brian did not have a router. Brian did not take his router to Pennsylvania. Brian did not have a router. Okay. Number one. Number two, no shoe was taken from the home to compare a size to the size of the print that was there. I can't wait to find out if the print is one of the pieces of evidence that was the new 10 pieces between November 23rd and November 25th. Curious to see what those 10 new pieces were to be sent in. There's also no mention of the size in the probable cause. I thought that was interesting. You guys, it's not about the shoes at the time of the arrest. It's not. This is about being able to take stuff out of a home based on probable cause. So, like, hey, we need to take his shoes so that we have a size 12. We need to see if his shoe size, what size shoe is Brian Kohberger? Yeah, they only talked about the pattern of the shoe. I'm talking about the actual suit, like the size of it. It's not about you can't say, hey, this is the size we're going to find out. We're talking about what size is the shoe that you found the print, what size is that? I'm curious. What size is not Brian Kohberger's shoe? What size is the shoe print that you found? What size? So we found this shoe print with diamond pattern. Well, that's great. What size is it? What size is it? I'm just asking what size it is. What size is the shoe print that they found? And why aren't they talking about it? I agree that it's only going to be minimal, guys, but I'm talking about this is what they walked out with. They're saying that they only walked out with this. Well, there's video footage of them walking out with a shit ton more than this. So that's going to have to be explained. So we can sit here and this isn't about what you guys, here's your blanket statement. The probable cause is minimal because we don't want to show our hand. Well aware of that. Awesome. Awesome. That's how it should be, right? Hey, we're going to be able to get a search warrant by only giving this up and saying this. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. But you're still putting in a search warrant what you need and what you want. Okay. And they're not asking for even a shoe to take to compare it to the size that they found. We don't even know what size they found. They walked out with a lot. You cannot, that's not how that works. The word seized. We seized this. Do you guys know what the word seized means? Seized. Last page. All seized from the residence. Seized means you've taken it. We've seized it. Okay. Why wouldn't you test things if you wanted to test things at that apartment? Why would you, was anything in like bagged and tagged and like in evidence bag? Like here, we're going to bag this bag, like this hair. We got to put it in the bag. We seal it up and we label it. Boom. There it is. Okay. The dust container from the power force vacuum. Again, you're dumping everything. Okay. Or you're just going to keep it. You just bag the whole vacuum because we don't want to contaminate it. So we want to like, and I'm going to slow down chat. Actually, I'm going to do this. Again, these are just things to think about because I want everybody who was involved with this to be held accountable. That's the bottom line for me. The bottom line for me is that everybody and anybody that did something to be held accountable. There you guys go. They sell vans everywhere. There you go. Thank you. Slew the Goosey, you cannot take someone's personal property out of their home, even with a search warrant, and not document it. Thank you. If it's not on that list, it was illegally seized. Woohoo! There it is. It's right there. That's exactly like, so the media has been all over this. The media has so much film, guys, and go back and search for the discovery and what they're asking for, and look at how they want all the information on what was given out to the media, then the unredacted, the regular version, all that stuff. It's, you guys, these victims deserve justice. These families, the University of Idaho, that community, everybody deserves justice here because people are living in fear. You've completely ruined, like, literally people, that this has ruined lives, whether you no longer are living or if you are still living, like, this has ruined your life. All of those girls and Ethan, they all had very close friends. People were in that house. People could say, like, well, how come not me? Or if I would have only done this, if I would have went there that night. There are so many victims to this crimes. And if there are multiple people involved, if this isn't the right person, if this, but at the end of the day, I don't think any part of this should be pushed under the rug to save, quote unquote, Greek life, or to save this image or that image. It is what it is. And if the evidence is there, guess what? Brian Kohberger is going down in flames. Going down in flames. But if Brian Kohberger is the person and you're doing stuff that and it's not the right way, then he goes free. Why should somebody like that beat this case? Okay. They shouldn't. And anybody involved with this shouldn't. And there's a gag order. And if people are trying to get officers to talk or using past, well, I talked to him, but it was at this time, but okay, I'm going to release this now. I mean, that's insane. But if you have a platform and you have the ability to talk about the truth and talk about the evidence, because that's what the truth is. There is no, this is my story, this is her story. There's the truth. Okay. Everybody can have all these stories, or this is my truth, or this. No, there is no my truth. Okay. That's your version, but that doesn't mean that's your truth. That's your version. Okay. There is one truth. And that truth is going to be supported by evidence. Period. And the evidence needs to be handled. It needs to be gathered correctly, processed correctly. And we watched it. We watched it. Our eyes don't deceive us. We're watching stuff. They're coming out of a house with numerous things that would have this much like space to take up, except for that damn vacuum, that tower, the vacuum, but everything else literally is taking up such small amount of space. And then when you're talking about not testing things, one collection of dark red spot collected without testing. Why? Why not test it? 2 cuttings from uncased pillow of reddish brownish stain. Do you want to know what I was getting emails about when people were seeing that? Oh my God, Lana, he smothered them. What? How do you get that from that? How are you getting that he smothered them? You guys, that's his pillow from his house that at one point or another, he had a nosebleed. Okay, we all have them. But I got people emailing me saying, oh my God, did you see this? And he smothered them. And I'm like, what in the hell are you looking at? But then I think about it and I'm like, this person's really saying this. And however you're getting that from this is really sad because it's not. So you think that he just took some pillows with him, got in his car, went over there and smothered people with his pillows. They got blood. I'm just like, wow, I can't even. But I'm like, whoever you're listening to and watching, I recommend that you shut that off because, you know, you're not processing this correctly. Okay. I mean, think about this. I mean, I'm going to go here with it, but think about women. Okay. We get our period. All right. Think about this. We get our period and we weren't expecting it. And then we're laying in bed and we get our period and it seeps through and it goes on your, you know, your sheet or your mattress. Okay. Like, it's just, woo. Two top and bottom of mattress cover packaged separately, both labeled C. Multiple stains, one tested. One computer tower. I mean, where were you getting this stuff from? One possible hair strand, like where? In the bathroom, underneath the mattress. I mean, one possible hair. I'm just curious, where was this collected from? You know, hopefully they had body cams on. But woo woo, I caught a live, but I'm behind. Watching on 2 time. You guys, we just let's think about it. Everything that we've been told. They were sleeping downstairs. They weren't witnesses. They weren't perpetrators. Now Dylan was upstairs. And well, I told you guys that. Dylan's bedroom was upstairs. I want the right person or persons. And I hope that all of you guys want the right person or persons. And trust me, if Brian's the guy, let's get him the right way. Whoever is the right person, let's help in making sure that happens the right way. Okay? But Brian's also innocent until proven guilty. And I know what it's like to be accused of something that you didn't do. And then I know what it's like for people to run with all these wild stories. And when you're hearing something, if you're going to say something, say where you got it. Oh, I got a source. Bullshit. Source right here. Okay? So I loved the comment that I wish I could go back and put it back up there. But Sleuthy was spot on. Okay? You can't just take shit out of there and not document that. Okay? Go back and watch the dates that they were doing things. The past videos that I've put up. Okay? Please go back and watch these. They found his vehicle on November 29th, the same day that they move all the victims' vehicles. They were literally at his vehicle. They found his vehicle and then they moved all the vehicles. Why would you need to move those vehicles when they are literally on 24/7 surveillance right there with the cop car? Why would you move them? Well, I went ahead and I looked. And the reason that they moved them is because they were able to free up 24 patrol officers. They were given $1 million, though. They were given $1 million. So, like, money should be the last thing on this, on what you're thinking. But why attempt to move anything, to contaminate anything? Oh, you're damn right they're not going to tell us everything. But I don't think they should be lying. Because I only think that hurts the credibility down the road. You know, I also think it's going to come out that maybe they weren't lying. maybe there's been multiple statements said by the surviving witnesses. Maybe there's been multiple statements said by the people that, went there and what time they actually got there. Well, yeah, I had been here. I mean, why do you think that Hunter's vehicle is considered and it's being held? The brother of Ethan. Okay, what time was that vehicle there? Did they look at the film from the neighbors and realize that car was there at 10 or 11 before 911 was called? And that's why we have to hold it. So all of these things are logical questions that, trust me, if I'm saying them and other people are saying them, then the defense is going to say them. And we have somebody that's a criminology student, right? So of course they're going to have things in their history that's fucking wild. Like, yeah. But I'm more concerned with, I believe that if Brian Kohberger did this, you can get him. If Brian Kohberger and other people did this, you can get them. And you just let the evidence take you where it needs to go, and all will be fine. People coming out here and saying all these things about a person that they don't even know, and I just think that's wild. I think it's wild. It's like us also saying that, everybody, these are college kids. I think that the body cam speaks for itself. And all of those kids were really respectful. All the victims were very respectful. Anytime that they were approached by law enforcement, they were all very respectful. And guess what? They had no idea what was going to happen. So they weren't acting or anything like that. That's like, yeah, they didn't get smart mouth. Now think about this. Think about when you were back in college, and think about any time that you would have ever been in a situation, you got lippy. Now think about that being out there. These kids that were enjoying their life didn't do that. They weren't disrespectful. And in fact, there was, that time that it happened, there was no calls like after that. Or if there are, they're being hidden because we couldn't find them. And I will tell you this, if they would have known about those incidences, I don't think that we would have got that body cam. So I don't think they knew about that. Why would you release that? You know what I mean? I think that we have a duty to be responsible and, saying that there's a person of interest and these are things about them. I think that's responsible. I don't think that's irresponsible. But letting people claim things that this house was a trap house, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're going to have to answer to me for that. Because I want proof. I want proof of life. I want proof on that. Only because these people aren't there to defend themselves. And if that was in fact that way, then I think there's going to be proof of that. So if you are out there and you've said kids were called there at 10 or 11 before the cops were, well, I hope to God you went to the police with that. Okay? Why would you go on a YouTube channel and say that? I'm only here on my channel showing the things that, okay, here, this is what they put out, and let's break down the facts of stuff. So, and if nobody can tell you to be quiet, you're not a party of the case, so nobody can say to you, you can't say something. You're not a party to the case. So you can say something. But I just think that everybody in this country is presumed innocent until proven guilty. And if somebody did something, there's going to be the proof that they did. Okay. It's 2023 now. It was 2022. You guys, digital stuff is amazing and what it can show and what it can't. So, but I think that People Magazine needs to walk back their statement on that Brian was DMing people. I mean, where in the fuck are you getting that from? Oh, a source that's investigating the case? That's basically saying it's law enforcement. That's the number one thing that can't happen right now. There's a gag order. So who do you think is going to use that as to their advantage? The defense. So when you want to talk about anybody that's helping anybody here, why the hell is People Magazine printing that? For clicks and views? To sell something? So people want to say that these YouTubers are doing this, that, and the other. Well, the source they're getting it from is probably YouTube. No, the YouTube is not investigating the case. Thank you there, Cruz. Lana's skills of deciphering these documents and merely stating what is staring us all in the face is imperative to expose everyone who is culpable for this destruction. Yes, that's 100 what this is about. Okay. Olivia was on the Drunken Turkey show, and I guess there was reference to Brian Kohberger being on the radar on November 14th. I want more about that because I've been saying that all day. Where did the name Brian Kohberger came from? Because it is not coming from chasing down a white launcher that gets off of camera at a point of, XYZ. And then you're just going to plot it then back on camera. And you're not able to reference it in any type of way other than suspect vehicle 1. If you had the license plates, you'd be saying it. And the Eugene, Oregon license plate on that did not have a back license plate. So anybody out there that's going to say that the DNA on that sheath doesn't matter and that they still got a search warrant, well, I thought that was the biggest thing that they had against Brian Kohberger. But yet they didn't want to use it for the search warrant. And that tells me a lot. Thank you there. Appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm excited to do the show tomorrow night because I think that the woman, she may be 100% right. But you got to come with some facts. Like, you got to come with some receipts. You got to come with something other than, XYZ. Let me see some Cash App transactions of you paying somebody something. Let's just see some proof of that we can go beyond, this is just the rumor between the sororities. Because trust me, there's $1 million trap houses out there. A trap house is where you can go kick it and do a lot of things. So, I'll take that as a compliment because if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't even comment. Thank you. So, Heather's never getting notifications, man. I don't know what's the problem over there, Heather. You're never getting those notifications. I love your definition of a trap house, Lana. You're welcome. I just think if you want to break it all down, and this case clearly needs a lot of time and attention to break it all down, and I think that if Brian Kohberger is the guy, he's going to go down for this. Trust me, I do. I want everybody. You want to know how this happened so that it doesn't happen again. I think that it's. Think about if it was your kid. If it was your kid, would you just want a fucking made up story? I know I wouldn't want no made up story. I'd want to know everything about it. I'd want everything about what happened. Because if somebody could have prevented this and they didn't, things like that, you'd want it all. Thank you. If you've ever been to a trap house, you know the difference. Go out to LA, honey. Promise. $1 million trap houses out there. No way I would want to know all of it. Yeah, I'd want everybody. I'd want everybody. I'd want everybody involved. I want to know. That doesn't mean I want to know the details on things that, you know, would break my heart. It's about how did this happen and how can we prevent this from happening again? And that's exactly what Kaylee's dad's been saying over and over. And if you actually listen to the words that he's saying, he's talking about something bigger than Brian Kohberger. Those are going to come out. All of those are going to come out. I mean, there's going to be tons of stuff that comes out. Yeah, 100%, Jenny. There's more to it. There's more to it, and you know, I just wouldn't want, hypothetically speaking, the university is not going to protect Greek life during something like this. Hypothetically speaking, the landlords aren't going to get spared if they had something to do. You get what I'm saying? Like whatever has happened, there should be no thing about, well, God, if like this, why does this have to come out? Let's just get the main person. No. You want to know how this happened, why this happened. Okay. If this centers around drugs, you want to know that, because I thought the whole point of this, the campus is about, you know, safer and blah, blah, blah. Well, why are they so worried about underage drinking when if you have all this alleged drug use going on and you have people like foaming out in cars and no report? I don't know who would ever put together a task force to do the whole underage drinking thing when we have them on camera going up to the house saying, we're not here. We're here for the noise complaint. We're not here for underage drinking. Like they're telling you, like Xana came out and she said, I'm not 21. And you could tell that she was on, you know, substance or drinking. And you're just thinking, I'm just thinking in my head and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. In my city, I can be held liable if one of my tenants is selling and I ignore it. Oh, God. That was funny. Where was that comment? Hold on. I could say that I wouldn't be blaring Brooks and Dunn's. I haven't been to a trap house, but I can assure you they wouldn't be blaring Brooks and Dunn on the speakers. And so sometimes, you know, when they're trying to talk about was the house the target and not the people, you know, maybe it was just that, you know, how often was the landlord around to act like they were fixing something when really they were meeting up with people too? Who knows? So at the end of the day, we don't know a lot, but the stuff that we do know, when you look at it logically, it doesn't make sense. So it's what you want to do with it. I think it depends on what they do with the house as far as that goes. But I think to say that they got to Brian Kohberger through some white Elantra, I don't believe that. Period, end quote. All right, guys, run it back, check it out. Thumbs it up, thumbs it down. But there are very important things that are missing from the search. There's also there nothing came from the search of the apartment, or not the apartment, but the office. So curious of what came from the cars, not just Brian's car, but all of the cars. And let's talk about the golf clubs. That's going to be the next thing I talk about is the golf clubs. So, all right, guys, stay safe. Thank you, guys. Consider becoming a subscriber. It's free. Just hit the subscribe button. A member to support the channel. But whatever you do, be kind to one another. See you soon. Again, thanks, mods. Appreciate you guys. As always, love you.